It's story time with Mrs. Elkins. Hi, boys and girls. It's me, Mrs. Elkins. I have the results of the survey that I sent out to you. Thank you to those boys and girls that did reply and they put their opinions out there. I wanted to let you know how it went. So, the first question was, which Junie B. Jones book do you like so far? Which one was your favorite? And 62% of you liked Junie B. Jones and the Stupid Smelly Bus the best. The runner up to that was Junie B. Jones and that Meanie Jim's birthday. I asked flat out, do you like the Junie B. Jones series? And 92% of you said yes, you really like these. So maybe we can read a few more of them before I move on to another book series. And there was no one that said they did not like the series. So that's really good. I'm glad that you guys like this. And I asked finally, what would you like for me to read next? 80% of you said that you would like to hear Junie B. Jones has a monster under her bed. So, just for you, we are starting Junie B. Jones has a monster under her bed, and I hope you like it. Let's get started.
Chapter 1, The Cheese Man. My name is Junie B. Jones. The B stands for Beatrice, except I don't like Beatrice. I just like B, and that's all. I am in the grade of afternoon kindergarten. Today we got school pictures taken at that place. School pictures is when you wear your bestest dress and you go to the cafeteria and a cheese man is there. He makes you say cheese, only I don't actually know why. Then he takes pictures of you, and your mother has to buy them, or else you will get your feelings hurt. School pictures is a racket, I think. I wore my new dress with the dinosaur on the front. A dinosaur, huh? Says the cheese man. I smoothed my skirt very lovely. Yes, I said, it is a Tyrannosaurus dotty. You mean a Tyrannosaurus rex? He said. No, I mean a Tyrannosaurus dotty, 'cause Rex is the boy and Dottie is the girl, I explained. The cheese man stood behind his camera. Say cheese, he told me. Only guess what? I don't actually know why I have to say that word, 'cause what's cheese got to do with it? I asked. Cheese makes you smile, said the cheese man. I shook my head. Not me. Cheese doesn't make me smile, I said, 'cause sometimes I eat a cheese sandwich for lunch and I don't even giggle when I swallow that thing. The cheese man did a big breath. Could you just say it? Could you please just say it? He asked. Yes, I said, I can please just say it, only don't forget to tell me when you're ready, 'cause one time my grandpa Frank Miller was taking my picture, and he didn't tell me he was ready, and then one of my eyes turned out opened and the other one turned out closed. I made the face to show him. See my eyes? See how one of them is open and the other one is... All of a sudden, the cheese man took my picture. My mouth came wide open at him. Hey, how come you did that? How come you took my picture? 'Cause I wasn't even ready yet. The cheese man kept on clicking his camera. Pretty soon he looked at the next person in line. Next, he said. I stamped my foot. Yeah, only I wasn't ready, I tell you, and so I need another turn, I said. Just then my teacher came over, and she pulled me away from there. She sat me next to her on a bench. Her name is Mrs. She has another name too, but I just like Mrs. and that's all. Mrs. said settle down to me. Then me and her watched the rest of the children get their pictures taken. My bestest friend named Lucille went next. She had a blue satin ribbon in her hair. My Nana says this ribbon brings out the blue in my eyes, she told the cheese man. She opened them real wide. See them? See their color? They are robin's egg blue, just with a hint of lavender. The cheese man sucked in his cheeks. He was getting frustration in him, I think. Could you please just say cheese? He grouched. Lucille smiled real big with all her teeth. Cheese! She sang very loud. Cheese, 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 cheese. Then she kept on singing cheese till the cheese man said, knock it off. After she was done, Lucille skipped over to me and Mrs. Did you see me? She asked. Did you see how good I said cheese? That's because I'm going to be a model when I grow up, so I already know how. She fluffed her fluffy hair. The camera is my friend, she said. Mrs. rolled her eyes way up to the ceiling. I looked up there too, but I didn't see anything. After that, it was time for the class picture. The class picture is when all of room 9 lines up in 2 big rows. The biggie kids stand in the back, and the shorty kids stand in the front. I am a shorty kid. Only that is nothing to be ashamed of. I stood next to Polly Allen Puffer. He looked very admiring at my dinosaur dress. Dinosaurs bite people's heads off, he said. I did a frown. Yeah, only they don't even scare me because there's no such thing as dinosaurs anymore, I told him. So, there's still such things as monsters that can bite your head off, said Polly Allen Puffer. A monster lives right under your bed, I bet. My big brother says that everybody has a monster under their bed. He poked his finger at me. Even you, Junie B. Jones, he said. I got shivers on my arms. No, I do not either, Polly Allen Puffer, I said. Yes, you do too, he said back. My brother is in 7th grade, and he says the monster waits till you're asleep. Then he crawls up next to you, and he lies down on your pillow, and he practices fitting your head in his mouth. I covered my ears, but Polly Allen Puffer talked louder. I can even prove it, he said. Didn't you ever wake up with a drool spot on your pillow? I thought very hard. Yeah? So? So where do you think it came from? He asked. It came from the monster under your bed, that's where. It was monster drool, Junie B. Jones. I shook my head real fast. No, it was not, Polly Allen Puffer. You stop saying that, and I mean it. He raised up his eyebrows. Well, where did it come from then? You don't drool on your pillow, do you? You're not a baby, are you? No, don't call me that. I am not a baby, I yelled. Polly Allen Puffer crossed his arms. So where did the drool come from then? He asked again. I don't know, I said, but my daddy told me there's no such thing as monsters. So what? Daddies have to say that, said Polly Allen Puffer. That's so you'll go to sleep at night and not bother them. He squinted his eyes at me. Why do you think daddies and mommies sleep in the same room anyway? It's so they can protect each other from the monster, or else their heads might get chewed off. Just then I wrinkled up my nose at that terrible thought. Then I hanged out my tongue, and I did a sick face. And guess what? The cheese man took the class picture. Chapter 2. Just Say Right. After school pictures, we went back to room 9. I put my head down on my table. There's no such thing as monsters. There's no such thing as monsters, I whispered to myself, because my very own daddy told me that, and he wouldn't even lie to me, probably. Mrs. said for me to sit up in my chair. She passed out work for us to do. It was called printing our letters, only I didn't actually feel like doing that. I tapped on my bestest friend named Lucille. Guess what, Lucille? There's no such thing as monsters. There's really, really not, and so a monster doesn't even live under my bed, probably. Right, Lucille? Right, right? Shh! I'm doing my letters, she said. Yes, Lucille, I know you are doing your letters, only I just wanted to tell you about the monster, 'cause he's not even real, right? Lucille didn't say right. How come you're not saying right, Lucille? Just say right, okay? Just say monsters aren't real, and I won't even bother you anymore. All of a sudden, Lucille did a mad breath. Now look what you made me do, Junie B! You made me ruin my big G. I told you not to bother me. She quick grabbed her paper and run to Mrs. to fix it. I tapped my fingers on the table. Then I turned around and looked behind me. I smiled at a boy named Crybaby William. Guess what, William? There's no such thing as monsters, and so a monster doesn't even live under my bed, probably. Right, William? Right, right? William moved his seat away from me. I followed him in my chair. I'm right, don't you think, William? A monster really doesn't live under my bed, does he? Plus, also, he doesn't put my head in his mouth. William slided his chair away some more. I scooted after him. Just say right, okay, William? Just say there's not a monster under my bed, and I will be on my way. William picked up his chair, and he carried it all the way to the middle of the floor. That's how come I had to carry my chair to the middle of the floor, too. I sat down and smiled very sweet. Right, William? I'm right, aren't I said. Only too bad for me, 'cause just then I felt hands on my shoulders. I looked up. It was Mrs. I did a gulp. Hello, how are you today? I said, kind of nervous. Mrs. zoomed my chair back to my table. It was not fun. I quick picked up my pencil. Guess what? I am going to do my work now, I said. Plus, also, I'm not even going to talk, 'cause I don't actually like anyone in this area. Mrs. tapped her foot at me. Love your shoes, I said real soft. Her foot kept tapping. Only just then a very great thing happened, and it is called the bell rang for the end of school. I hurried up out the door. Then me and my other bestest friend named Grace runded to the bus together. Grace, Grace, guess what? There's no such things as monsters, and so I probably don't even have one under my bed. Probably, right, Grace, right? That Grace didn't say right. That's how come I grabbed her by her shoulders, and I jiggled and jiggled her. 'Cause I was fed up with these people, that's why. How come you won't say right, Grace? How come nobody will say right? 'Cause I'm getting at the end of my rope with this thing. That Grace took my hands off her. I can't say right because a monster really might live under your bed, Junie B, she said. My eyes got big and wide at her. No, Grace, no. Do not say that. Do not say a monster might live under my bed, because that cannot even be true. Or else I will have spotted that guy by now. No, you wouldn't, she said. My big sister said that monsters can turn themselves invisible when you look at them, and so that's how come nobody ever sees them. That Grace looked serious at me. That makes sense, don't you think, huh, Junie B, right? Just then my throat got dry and my stomach got the shakies. I looked out the window very upset, and I didn't say right. Chapter 3. The Invisiblest Guy. I ran in my house and hollered for my Grandma Helen Miller. Grandma Miller! Grandma Helen Miller! I am so glad to be home, 'cause today was not a very good day at my school. Grandma Miller was in the kitchen. She was holding my baby brother named Ollie. I jumped up and down in front of her. Pick me up, pick me up, pick me up. I can't right now, Toots, she said. I've got my hands full with Ollie. Yeah, only put him on the floor, I said, 'cause I need a hug down here, Helen. Grandma Miller leaned down and hugged me, and she said, don't call her Helen. Why don't you go change your clothes, she said. Then you and I will make some popcorn, and you can tell me all about your day. How does that sound? Just then my whole face got happy, 'cause popcorn is my most favorite thing in the whole wide world. Hooray! I shouted. Hooray for popcorn! I ran right to my room. Then I took off my shoes and socks, and my feet did a happy dance on the floor. It was called the Happy Feet Popcorn Dance. They danced around and around. Also, they jumped on my bed and they springed into the floor. Then they did a giant twirly on my rug. I clapped my hands real joyful. Grandma, hey, Grandma, guess what? I am having a good time in here, and so I am not even thinking about the monster under my bed. Just then I did a gulp, 'cause I shouldn't have said that, I think. I looked at my bed kind of nervous. What if the monster was under there this very minute? And what if he was looking at my piggy toes? And what if he wanted to eat them? Oh no, I said, oh no, 'cause piggy toes look just like little wiener sausages, I think. I freezed right where I was standing. Grandma Miller, come quick, I need you, I shouted. Grandma Miller flied to my room. Then she picked me up and she hugged me real tight. What on earth is the trouble? She asked. She sat down with me on my bed. No, Grandma, no, we can't sit here. I squeezed out of her arms and ran out my door. There's a monster under my bed, I yelled. I jumped up and down. Run, Helen, run like the wind. Only Grandma Helen Miller didn't run. She just flopped back on my covers and she closed her eyes. No, Junie B, please, we're not going through this monster business again, are we? We've talked about monsters before, remember? We decided that there are no such thing as monsters. Yes, but I have new information, I said. 'Cause the monster under my bed turns himself invisible whenever we look at him. Plus, at night, after my eyes are closed, he climbs next to me and he puts my head in his mouth. Grandma Miller did a big breath. Then she went to the kitchen and she brought back my daddy's flashlight. She shined it under my bed. No monster, Junie B. None. I don't see one single monster under this bed, she said. See, I said that proves it, Grandma. He turned himself invisible. Grandma Miller shook her head. No, Junie B. The monster did not turn himself invisible. The monster is simply not there. He does not exist, period. Yes, he does, Grandma. He does too exist because Polly Allen Puffer's big brother even said so. Plus, I've also seen the drool. Grandma Miller said to calm down my voice. She got me a drink of water. Why don't we forget about the monster for now, and we'll go make popcorn? You can talk to your mother about this when she gets home. I bet Mother will know exactly what to do. I thought and thought. What, Grandma? What will she do? I asked. Then all of a sudden, a light bulb went off on in my head. Hey, I know what she'll do. Mother will get the broom and bash the monster's head in. 'Cause I saw her do that to a roach before, and she is excellent at it. Grandma Miller closed her eyes again. She said, I am a strange one. Chapter 4. Spooky and Scary. Pretty soon Mother came home from work. I zoomed to her speedy quick and handed her the broom. Mother, Mother, come on, let's go get the monster, I hollered. Mother turned her head real slow, and she looked at Grandma Miller. Grandma sucked in her cheeks. A monster, she said kind of quiet, under the bed. We've been waiting for you to come home so you can bash its head in. I tugged on her sweater. Plus tell her about the drool, Grandma, I said. But Grandma Miller headed to the door, and she said the words, I'm out of here. I pulled on Mother's arm. Come on, Mother. The monster's really real because Polly Allen Puffer told me everybody has a monster under the bed. Plus that Grace said it can turn invisible, and so that is how come we never saw that guy before. Mother sat down at the kitchen table, and she lifted me onto her lap. Then she said that Polly Allen Puffer was just trying to scare me. Plus that Grace didn't know what she was talking about. There is no monster under your bed, Junie B. I promise you, monsters are not real, she said. Yes, they are. They are too real because Polly Allen Puffer's brother even said so, and he is in 7th grade, and he said monsters crawl on your bed and they fit your head in their mouth, and that is where the drool comes from because I'm not even a baby. Just then I heard the front door open. It was my daddy. He was home from work too. Daddy, there's a monster under my bed. Only you said monsters aren't real, but they really, really are. I pulled on his arm. Come on, Daddy, let's get him. Daddy looked at Mother a real long time. They went in the hall and did whispering. Pretty soon Daddy came back to me. He said we would look for the monster after dinner, but first we would cook some hamburgers on the grill. Oh boy, I said, oh boy, 'cause hamburgers are my most favorite thing in the whole wide world. Plus I also like pescetti and meatballs. After that, me and Daddy went outside. He got a flipper for the hamburgers. Then he gave me a flipper too, 'cause I am old enough, that's why. I runned all over with that thing. I flipped a rock and a flower and a dirt ball. Plus also I flipped a dead lizard I found in the driveway. And my mother took my flipper away. 'Cause I am not old enough, that's why. After dinner I took my bath. Then Mother and Daddy read me a story, and they hugged me good night. See you in the morning, said Mother. See you in the morning, said Daddy. I sat up in my bed. Yeah, only I can't even sleep in here 'cause you guys didn't bash that monster yet. Daddy rubbed his tired eyes. There's no monster, Junie B. There is nothing to be afraid of. Then he kissed me, and he went out of my room, and Mother went with him. I quick got out of bed and followed those two. They turned around and spotted me. Hello, how are you today? I said, very pleasant. I am going to sit in the kitchen and not bother anyone, plus also I might watch Eyewitness News at 10. Mother carried me back to bed. I followed her out again. Want to bake a lemon pie? A lemon pie would be fun, don't you think? I asked. This time Mother marched me back to my room real fast. Do not get up again, Junie B, she said. Enough is enough. I waited for her feet to walk away. Then I tippy-toed to my baby brother's room and I climbed into his crib. It was very crowded in there. That's how come I had to get out and put baby Ollie on the floor. Then I climbed in his crib again and I pulled up the blanket all warm and cozy. Only too bad for me, 'cause just then that baby started to scream. Daddy rummed in the room speedy quick. He turned on the light and saw me. I did a gulp. Hello, how are you today? I said, kind of nervous. I am all warm and cozy. Daddy quick swished me out of there. Then he put baby Ollie back in the crib. And he took me to my bed again. Okay, this is it, he grouched. This is the last time I want to have to come in here. Do you understand, Missy? Do not get out of this bed one more time. I started to cry a teeny bit. Only what about the monster? I said. 'Cause he is still under my bed, I think. Daddy throwed his hands in the air. Then he turned on my light and he looked for the monster all over the place. First he looked under my bed. Then he looked in my closet and in my drawers and in my trash can. Plus also he looked in my crayon box. No monster, Junie B, he said. No monster anywhere. You're going to have to believe me. Monsters are not real. He sat down on my bed. I'm going to go now, he said. I'm going to leave your door open and I'm going to leave the hall light on. But this is it, okay? You have to trust me, Junie B. There is no monster under your bed. I holded on to his shirt. Only tuck in my sheets, okay? Tuck them in real tight, or else my feet might hang out over the edge and piggy toes look like little wiener sausages. Daddy tucked in my sheets. There. Now good night. Only get my teddy, okay, Daddy? Because also get my Raggedy Ann named Ruth and my Raggedy Andy named Larry, and get my stuffed elephant named Philip Johnny Bob. Daddy got all those guys for me, and he tucked them in my bed. There, that's it. Now good night, he said. He walked right out of my room, and he kept on going down the hall. I looked all around the dark. It was spooky and scary in there. Philip Johnny Bob wants a drink of water, I shouted really loud. I waited and waited. Only he really needs one on account of he is having a problem with his trunk. Daddy didn't come. Raggedy Ruth needs a Kleenex, I yelled next. After that, my voice got quieter. Raggedy Larry wants a cookie, I said. But still Daddy didn't come.
All right, my friends, that was chapters 1 through 4 of Junie B. Jones Has a Monster Under Her Bed. I hope you liked it as much as I do. And it seems like it's the perfect time of year to think about monsters under the bed and things like that. So much fun. I will read the second half of the book to you next week. And don't forget, the Junie B. Jones books are all AR books. Well, I will see you next week. Bye.